In Westeros and beyond, gods are not silent. They breathe fire, demand blood, and shape the fate of empires. Today, we uncover the faiths and deities behind fire and blood. These are the gods that burn, bleed, and judge. The Faith of the Seven. Born across the sea and carried to Westeros in the wake of the Andal's conquest, proclaims a singular divine essence expressed through seven sacred faces: the nurturing mother, the judging father, the valiant warrior, the forging smith, the innocent maiden, the wise crone, and the mysterious stranger. Worshippers gather within seven-walled sanctuaries known as septs, where rituals are led by the faithful voices of septons and septas. At its heart stands the great sept of Baelor in King's Landing, where the High Septon, revered as the spiritual beacon, presides over the most devout, a council entrusted with guiding doctrine and discipline. Among its sacred orders are the Silent Sisters, veiled attendants to the dead, who perform the final rites with solemn grace and wordless reverence. Though once rigid and unforgiving toward rival beliefs, the faith has been tempered over time, its once iron convictions softened by uneasy peace with the old gods of the north. The old gods of the forest. They are not bound by names or numbers. They are ancient primal spirits, silent watchers of the world, revered by the children of the forest, the free folk beyond the wall, the stoic people of the north, and a few scattered souls in the southern wilds of Westeros. Their worship does not demand temples or idols, but reverence before the heart trees, great weirwoods with bark as white as bone and leaves like crimson tears. Etched into their trunks are solemn faces, ever watching, ever judging. These sacred trees form the heart of the godswood, where prayers are whispered, not shouted, and offerings are made with quiet hope. It is said that the old gods see only through the eyes of these carved faces, their reach limited to the lands where heart trees still stand. In the south, where the axes of the Andals felled most of these ancient sentinels, their presence has faded into shadow. But their power endures. It stirs in the blood of the wargs, those rare souls who can see through the eyes of beasts. Through the weirwoods they touch the threads of time itself. Bran Stark, last of a noble line, once placed his hands upon a heart tree beyond the wall, and through its gaze glimpsed the past, the now, and the yet to come. Rahala, the Lord of Light. The heart of fire, the god of flame and shadow, is a deity ablaze in mystery and power. Worshipped widely across Essos, yet scarcely understood in Westeros, R'hllor is revered by the Red Priests as humanity's only shield against the creeping cold and eternal darkness. But this is no gentle god. R'hllor is a fierce and demanding force, one who asks for blood, pain, and fire in return for his blessings. Yet, to those who truly surrender, he grants miracles, resurrections, visions, and flames that whisper the future. At the heart of his faith lies an ancient prophecy. The world hangs in balance as R'hllor battles the Great Other, his eternal opposite in a cosmic war of fire and ice. Hope rests with the return of Azor Ahai, a hero reborn, destined to wield Lightbringer, the sword of fire, forged in agony and baptized in the blood of his beloved wife. Unlike the silent gods of old, R'hllor speaks. He burns through the eyes of his priests, offering flickering glimpses of what is to come in the dancing embers. Few wield this gift, like Melisandre of Ashai, prophet, sorceress, and shadowbinder. She has walked through poison untouched, surviving an assassination by Maester Crescent. She has called upon king's blood in fire rituals, casting leeches into the flames and naming 3 pretenders. Of them, Robb Stark and Joffrey Baratheon fell soon after, deaths that may be the work of coincidence, or the searing hand of R'hllor. Among all the gods of Westeros, only R'hllor answers. But his price is steep, and his fire does not warm, it burns. The Great Stallion. The great stallion, wild, untamed, and eternal, is the sole deity worshipped by the Dothraki, a god who gallops across the sky and watches over his children from the windswept plains. His presence speaks to the heart of Dothraki life, where horses are not mere beasts, but sacred extensions of the soul. Central to their faith is a powerful prophecy, the coming of the stallion who mounts the world. This foretold figure is no ordinary Khal but a conqueror beyond compare, destined to unite all Dothraki blood riders into one vast Khalasar, and ride forth to trample nations and shatter the edge of the world beneath his hooves. When Daenerys Targaryen carried the child of Khal Drogo, the Dothraki whispered that her unborn son Rhaego would fulfill this prophecy. He was to be the great stallion incarnate, the one who would ride the wind and set the earth trembling. But fate, ever cruel, took another path. In a desperate ritual to save Drogo's fading life, blood magic was invoked, and a terrible price was paid. Rhaego was born twisted and still, a lifeless creature covered in scales and shadows. The prophecy, once burning bright, was snuffed out in silence. Whether the stallion who mounts the world is yet to come, or already lost to the ashes of fate, only the great stallion in the sky may know. Many-faced God. Though the many-faced God is not born of flame nor forged in blood, he accepts both as sacred offerings. Worshipped in shadowed silence by the faceless men of Braavos, he is not merely a god of death, but the very embodiment of its inevitability. To his faithful, all death is the same, merciful, final, and holy. Whether cloaked as the stranger, the black goat, the lion of night, or any other face across the world, each death god is but one mask worn by the many-faced god. His followers are not mere killers. They are students of precision, ritual, and anonymity. They trade their names for silence and their faces for shadows, offering lives not in wrath, but in reverence. They whisper a sacred truth. Valar Morghulis. All men must die. The Black Goat of Qohor. In the shadowed alleys and blood-slicked altars of Qohor, one god reigns supreme, the Black Goat, a deity both feared and fed. Cloaked in smoke and silence, this ravenous god demands daily tribute, beasts at dawn, and sometimes men at dusk. To the people of Qohor, blood is more than sacrifice. It is sustenance for the divine. The city's strength, its very survival, is believed to flow from the veins spilled upon sacred stone. Through ancient rites and grim offerings, the Black Goat shields Qohor from ruin. This dark protection is not legend alone. When the Dothraki thundered toward the city gates, it was not steel alone that held them back, but the prayers and blood rites of Qohor's priests. Even the unsullied, forged in discipline and death, once owed their salvation to this god's dark favor. Connection to fire and blood. While no flames dance at his altar, blood flows freely. The Black Goat asks not for light, but for fear. Unlike the gods of fire, who burn to reveal, the Black Goat cloaks his power in mystery and dread. In Qohor, power is paid in blood, and the goat always hungers. Drowned God. On the wind-lashed shores of the Iron Islands, the crashing waves carry the gospel of the drowned god, a god not of mercy, but of salt, storm, and steel. His faith runs deep in the blood of the Ironborn, who claim they were forged for the sea and born to raid. The drowned god wages an endless war beneath the waves against his eternal foe, the storm god, a wrathful force who stirs tempests to shatter Ironborn ships and drown their warriors. But the Ironborn do not fear death in water. They embrace it, for to drown is to be reborn in the god's watery halls. His teachings are as brutal as the tides. To the drowned god, true honor lies in strength and seizure. What is dead may never die, they proclaim, only to rise harder stronger, and more relentless. To earn the iron price is to take what one needs by blood and blade, not coin. Plunder is divine, conquest sacred. Baptism in this faith is literal. Followers are drowned and revived, reborn in salt and sacrifice, bound to a creed where mercy is weakness and the sea is the only judge. The drowned God does not promise paradise, only the storm, the salt, and the strength to take what is yours.